السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
عليكم السلام.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء. واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Verily, all praise is due to Allah. We praise Him, seek His help, and ask for His forgiveness. We seek refuge in Allah from the evil in ourselves and from our evil deeds. Whosoever Allah guides, no one can mislead, and whosoever Allah allows to stray, no one can guide. And I bear witness that there is none worthy of worship except Allah. He is one, having no partners. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is his servant and messenger. To proceed, verily the truest speech is the book of Allah. The best guidance is the guidance of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The worst of affairs of the newly invented matters in religion, and every newly invented matter in religion is a heresy. Every heresy leads us astray, and everything that leads us astray leads to the hellfire. As we approach the end of the month of Ramadan, which is the heart of the month of Ramadan, I wanted to remind us of a few lessons and themes of the month of Ramadan so that we can make sure in this crucial time that we are experiencing or we're about to enter, that we will truly benefit from it. And we want the benefit of Ramadan and the lessons of Ramadan to be in Ramadan as well as outside of Ramadan. The messages and the themes of Ramadan is not just for Ramadan. And this is something that we, as an ummah, as a community, struggle with. So I want to remind us, first of all, of a beautiful hadith that Imam At-Tirmidhi, rahimahullah, he collects, as well as others, an authentic hadith that we're all familiar with. But a hadith that we should be thinking about constantly. And it says, سُئِلَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ عَنْ أَكْثَرِ مَا يُدْخِلُ النَّاسَ الْجَنَّةِ. It says that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked a very profound question. And that was, what are the leading causes for people entering paradise? What are the leading causes of people entering paradise? Obviously, this paradise is our goal. Paradise is why we're here today. Paradise is the reason that we are fasting the month of Ramadan. This land of fantasy, this land in which we're told our fantasies become realities, this land in which we're told our dreams and desires can come true and be fulfilled, this land in which we're told there's no more pain, no more sorrow, no more fear and anger, discomfort, and there's no end. And the majority of mankind believes in this. And we're asked again, what are the leading causes for people being successful? Many of us are here today in search of success. The Mu'adhin said, Hayya al-Falah, come to success. Many of us come to America, the most powerful nation in the world, because we want to be successful. If we truly want to be successful on the day of judgment, then we should know the leading causes of people entering paradise, which are taqwa wa husnul khuluq. Taqwa. And we're told that this is what we should be attaining in this month. This is the goal. This is the rationale. كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ كُتِبَ عَلَيْكُمُ الصِّيَامُ كَمَا كُتِبَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. So that you may have this taqwa. And taqwa is hard to provide a concise, short definition. But in reality, it's a mentality. It's an awareness that your actions have consequences. It is awareness that you try to protect yourself from that which you fear. The more you remember Allah in the month of Ramadan, the better your Ramadan will be. The more that you remember that you are an employee while you are working, the better employee you will be. The more conscious we are about the day of judgment, about hellfire, paradise, about what is beyond life, the more likely we are to get things out of the best out of this world and to be successful. So taqwa is something, again, you can't really describe in just a sentence or two, but this awareness. So we should be conscious when we come to the masjid, when we leave the masjid, we should have this remembrance, this dhikr, and we should have this mentality outside. And that's what we really, really struggle with. We know that. So point number one is not that we only should be focused on our relationship with Allah, which is wonderful, but we also should be focused and concentrating on our relationship with mankind, with Allah's creation. We're told the second thing that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned was husnul khuluq, the way you display and act your mannerisms. This will be a leading cause for you entering paradise. When someone cuts you off and you just let them go. When you have courage, when you have all these wonderful qualities and virtues, and if you truly love Allah, the Creator, you would love and respect the Creator. And many times we find that our iman is tied to how we treat the creation. لا يؤمن. You do not truly believe حتى يحب لأخيه ما يحب لنفسه. You don't truly believe, your iman is incomplete until you love for your brother what you love for yourself. And in one narration, your neighbor what you love for yourself. In one narration, you love for humanity the good that you love for yourself. Also, the Prophet ﷺ tells us, لا تدخلوا الجنة حتى تؤمنوا. You will not enter paradise. Scary hadith. Until you have iman. وَلَا تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُوا. And you will not have iman until you care about one another. So, and then it continues, أَلَا أَدُلُّكُمْ عَلَى شَيْءٍ إِنْ فَعَلْتُمُوهُ تَحَابَبْتُمْ. Should I not tell you a thing that if you were to do it, it will create and engender this love that you need in order to have strong iman and in order to enter paradise? Afshu salam, spread the salam. So here, what I want to emphasize is as we are working on our relationship with Allah in the month of Ramadan, we also need to work on our relationship with the creation. As a matter of fact, we all know that the Prophet ﷺ asked his companions a question. And this hadith is in Sahih Muslim and others. He said, do you know who are the bankrupt people? And may Allah protect us from bankruptcy. So the companions answered by saying, it's a person who has no money, no dinar or mata, no possessions, no even silver coin, nothing. And the Prophet ﷺ tells us that the bankrupt person from my ummah will come on the day of judgment with salat, with Sawm, with zakat. This person will come to Jum'ah, will pray, will fast and do these things, but yet he hit this person, accused this person of something wrongfully, ridiculed this person, spilled the blood of this person. All these things that the Prophet mentions, he slanders this person, takes this person. He doesn't give society, people, their rights. And so he will, on the day of judgment, will have to give away some of his good deeds and take the bad people's, and take some of the bad deeds to the point where he will be bankrupt on the day of judgment. And he will eventually enter hellfire. Inshallah, it will come out, but it will not be successful, even though this person went through the motion. This should be a scary hadith, because this is a hadith that we see around us. We see people fasting, but yet they're cursing, doing everything else. Or we see people fasting and right outside, right on the first day of Eid, everything else goes back to normal. So, and the Prophet tells us this very explicitly, that a fasting person may get nothing out of their fast besides hunger and thirst. It's not improving you. The fast is more than just simply not eating and drinking. We shouldn't be thinking right now, actually even before the month of Ramadan, that this Ramadan should be transformational. Just like Hajj, we don't expect people to come back from Hajj in the same Abdul Qadir or the same Fatima that left. No one expects that. The same thing, Ramadan should be transformational. It should make you a better person. This is a time for change. This is a time that we raise the bar. But we're not there yet. Many of us, we're just going through the motions. Many of us will make effort and sacrifices in the month of Ramadan, making sure we come to Jum'ah every single Friday. But outside of the month of Ramadan, no effort is made. Now, again, we know in the last 10 nights, the Prophet ﷺ raised the bar. He turned his nights into days. And no doubt the effort will be more intense in the month of Ramadan. But what I'm talking about is we go down to a very, very low level. And as a matter of fact, many people complain after the month of Ramadan, Imam, I'm not feeling it anymore. What's the problem? This post-Ramadan syndrome that you see. Part of it is that we're not really reflecting on the goals. And the one goal that I want to mention today, with the time that we have remaining, is not just taqwa and not just our relationship with mankind, because we know that the Prophet was ajwadun, the most generous of people. And the most generous you will find him will be in the month of Ramadan. But one simple point, which is one of the very first points of fasting, and that is discipline. Fast, so means imsak. It means to hold back. This whole ritual is for us to be able to subdue our desires. We are told to focus on our greatest desire, the desire to eat and drink and intimacy and to hoard money. We should be working on those things. And on top of that, the Prophet tells us that the shayateen in general are locked up. So this battle of subduing your desire is just your greatest desire, ultimately just between you and yourself. This is the time that you need to put yourself in check. This is the time that you said that you should tell yourself that this is 2024. And many of us, and we rightfully should, at the beginning of the year, we have this mentality. Okay, now the month of Ramadan, alhamdulillah, still in the beginning of this year, we got to remind ourselves, it's time for us to be that person that we've been promising to be. And on top of that, Allah gives us all these signals of hope. He tells us that the doors of paradise are open, wide open, and the doors of hellfire are shut tightly, telling us, yes, you can. Shayateen are locked up, but it's time for us to do our work. So one of the things that we should be doing is gaining that control over ourselves. And Allah tells us, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَىٰ فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَىٰ. But as for him who feared standing before his Lord, again, this person is conscious of having to stand before your Lord. And according to Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu and other companions and Mufassirin, the very last verse of the verse in Surah Baqarah, in which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّقُوا يَوْمًا تُرْجَعُونَ فِيهِ إِلَى اللَّهِ ثُمَّ تُوَفَّى كُلُّ نَفْسٍ مَا كَسَبَتْ وَهُمْ لَا يُظْلَمُونَ. The very last reminder to mankind, the very last speech from Allah to the creation was, and be aware of the day in which you will return back to Allah, and everyone will be dealt with justly, and you will not be, and you will be compensated according to what you did. So it's very important that we're conscious of this. So anyway, the verse says, but as for him who feared standing before his Lord and restraining himself from impure, evil desires and lusts, verily paradise will be his abode. So again, paradise, which is our goal. And the Prophet tells us that whoever can promise control of what is between his jaws and his legs, control over your speech, which is difficult, and sexual desires, then the Prophet said that I can promise you paradise. Likewise, at the second part of the hadith that we led with, the companions asked, وَسُئِلَ عَنْ أَكْثَرِ مَا يُدْخِلَ النَّاسِ النَّارِ. The Prophet was asked about what are the leading causes of people entering hellfire, the leading causes of people being losers, the leading causes for people not making it, the leading causes for people being disgraced is al-fam, the mouth, and the private parts. So again, this is what we should be thinking about, controlling our tongue. Even if we are agitated, irritated, We should be reminding the people that this is a time of restraint. So we say, Inni sa'im, I am fasting. This is a time of discipline. This is a time of discipline. So again, brothers and sisters, as we are approaching the end of the month of Ramadan, we want to make sure this Ramadan is transformational. We want to make sure this Ramadan really has an impact. And we see the situation of our brothers and sisters in Gaza and Sudan and the Rohingyas and all over the world. We can't afford to lose one person. And the reality is that we have this sickness. We are just going through the motion. The Prophet also mentioned this 1400 years ago, that you can fast and it really doesn't do much for you. And you can fast on the day of judgment and come with me. You can fast, have the fasting, have zakat, and have these and prayer, but yet also if you didn't take care of your relationship with the people, then ultimately you will be unsuccessful as well. So we have to have this complete picture in our head as we fast, and if we do so, inshallah, we will be successful. I ask Allah to allow us to truly be of those people who fast with the right intention, the right mentality, and it makes a change in them as well as those who are around them. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. So just to quickly recap, we said it's alhamdulillah, we are approaching the end of the month of Ramadan, and this is the time in which we should be pushing ourselves even more. And it's not by coincidence that the best time or the most virtuous time is at the end. Likewise, we find the last pillar of Islam is in the last month of the year. And the best days, the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah, are in the last month, so that we can end the year strong and start the next year strong. The same thing, if we have this mentality now that we end Ramadan strong and continue to make that push in Shawwal and in the following months, not just in the month of Ramadan and then it's over. We have to get out of this mentality. The Prophet ﷺ tells us in an authentic hadith collected by Imam al-Tirmidhi, all people wake up in the morning, while among them are those who offer themselves for sale, meaning they surrender themselves to their passions and whims. And we see that all around us. Sadly, not just in non-Muslim world, but even in the Muslim world. But we see it. People, they just obey their desires. And it's actually considered now like praiseworthy, unfortunately. And the hadith continues. You have these first categories, and then this first category, and then you have, and those who free themselves from their passion and desires. So this is the category, this is the group that we should be working on. I mean, many of us, it may not be, everyone has their weakness. Some people may be gambling, some people may be alcohol, some people may be making quick money, interest, and selling haram, and all types of stuff. All of us need to develop this discipline and become better people. And then, inshallah, we will have the nasr. And then our disgrace that we are facing will come to glory. It will change. It's us. And we can't just point fingers and say, oh, the leader of this country. We make up, they're a reflection of us. That's the problem. We keep on poking and pointing the finger. But it's us. If we change, if this ummah right now, and I'll make this one of the last points, here in Winston-Salem, everyone said, yeah, subhanAllah, brother reminded me, right? And we just start, quote unquote, deening properly. It will shake up Winston-Salem. You would shake up the city if we really live how we were supposed to. But what we do, if we said so-and-so, the imam, the leadership, this, they're not doing their job, and we continue to do just complaining and yapping and attacking other Muslims, and we wonder why our dua are not accepted, and we have this. And also, let me put this also before closing. We have to truly care about the people. Many of us, and I'm sorry to be so blunt, came with greed and this nafsi mentality. Come here, and by any means, I'm going to make my money. If I got to do this to make money, if I got to do that, if I have to sell poison to people, I don't care. And the people see that. Even sometimes brothers have told me, with almost tears, that even my da'wah is not really for the people, it's for myself. Hey, to make me feel comfortable. You know, I got a PhD, I got this, I have that, and I don't want to be the boogeyman. I don't want to be looked at as less. I didn't come to America for that. So what I'm saying is, when we respect and honor the people will have respect and honor for us. But since we have belittled the people and not really extended a helping hand, then I believe this is our situation. And again, forgive me for being so blunt, but I think sometimes we have to be shaken up. And right now, we know we're in a time of sickness. And right now, we have to be real, and we have to show some tough love. And we have to, each and every one of us, take responsibility for being a better person. With that, before closing, I want to say that we found out Brother Khalil is sick in the hospital, so we asked everyone to make dua. The Brother Farouk also. So please remember Brother Farouk and Brother Khalil. They are sick, and inshallah, this is a wonderful time to make dua. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give them a quick recovery and a full recovery, and to give a full and quick recovery to everyone who is sick. Likewise, we have a table in the back with Helping Hands for Relief and Development, a wonderful Muslim organization that is doing work all around the world. So we ask you to try to visit them to take some information as well. Typically, because we don't have time, I really don't have, there's a few other points that I was going to share with you about how we can gain discipline. But this, I think, inshallah, it is sufficient that we mention that this Ramadan, we need to really focus on the themes and the messages of the month of Ramadan, and especially in these last 10 days that are coming. And if we do this, change will happen. And this is what Ramadan is all about too. Hope. Hope is a theme. Why did the Prophet tell us that the doors of paradise are open? You can't see the doors of paradise. Why tell us that the shayateen are chained and that the doors of hell are shut? You can't see it. But, and there's a caller saying, Ya baghi al-khayr, aqbil, O seeker of good, come forth. And O one who's still struggling with his soul, hold back. Again, the message of Ramadan, hold back, refrain. You can't hear that. You can't see this. But all of this is to give us hope and letting you know, and this builds our iman. Allah repeats over and over again in the Quran, Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. Sometimes, multiple times on one page, with Allah, everything, anything is possible. But again, we have to do our part. It's conditional. Allah tells us, if you have taqwa, then Allah will make a way out for you. If you have this, these are conditions. We just need to do our part and stop blaming. Once we do that, once we wake up, and it's so simple, the change will happen instantly. This is the truth. But we have to do our part. We have failed our families, ourselves, our ummah, and non-Muslims. And again, I apologize for being so strong and harsh, but sometimes this is a time that we need to hear it. And if not now, I don't know when. عباد الله إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين وأذل الشرك والمشركين. ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين وأقيم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. الصلاة يدومها. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Gonna fill out the ring. Shoulder to shoulder.
Take the right, right to right, shoulder to shoulder. Fill in the right.
So front me the beautiful place.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كانت لهم جنات الفردوس نزلا خالدين فيها لا يبغون عنها حولا. قل لو كان البحر مدادا لكلمات ربي لنفد البحر قبل أن تنفد كلمات ربي ولو جئنا بمثله مددا. قل إنما أنا بشر يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فمن كان يرجو لقاء ربه فليعمل عملا صالحا ولا يشرك بعبادة ربه أحدا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to introduce y'all community to the brother Sheikh Gyasi. Assalamu alaikum. So that y'all know a little bit about the Sheikh, he's a graduate from Islamic University of Medina and also holds a master's degree from Vanderbilt University in theological studies. He has nearly 25 years experience providing Islamic leadership to schools and organizations. He served as an imam, prisoner chaplain, and youth director, and also served as Islamic studies teacher in school, scholar, counselor. Currently, Sheikh Gyasi works the Helping Hand for Relief and Development as the manager of the Skills Development and Livelihood Program. Sheikh Gyasi lives in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area with his family. When not spending time with the youth and volunteer activity, he loves reading and going fishing. So let's thank the Sheikh for the beautiful Khutbah. Alhamdulillah. Thank you, Sheikh. Shukran. Also, Brother Khalil Rodriguez is in the Atrium Baptist Hospital, Reynolds Tower, room 715 for any brothers that would like to go visit us. Inshallah.